Hey folks, what's up? Lex here. I wanted to make this video because about a week ago I made a video about relocation, rebranding in MLB The Show 20. It's a brand new feature that they're putting into the game, and in that video I talked about how I wasn't really happy with the implementation of the feature, and I explained myself. I thought I explained myself pretty well, but I got a ton of comments that really made me kind of reassess the situation and think about what exactly I had said and kind of reevaluate the whole stance on whether or not I'm disappointed in this feature. Now, I got a ton of great comments that were on opposite sides of the spectrum, and it really sparked a lot of decent conversation in the comment section. But there was one comment in particular that I read that really had me going back over this and thinking about it more closely. And that's this comment from the G19. It says, "Can't you be happy with what they gave us? I get it's not what we're expecting, but I think it's a good start." Now that's a really good point. Was I being too harsh on the implementation of rebranding and relocation in this game? Was I coming across as a bit too harsh? I wanted to really put some deep thought into this, and the conclusion that I come back with overall is that no, I don't think I was being too harsh. I don't think I was trying to run this feature into the ground or anything like that. And I wanted to reiterate something from the last video that I said, I like this game. I really do. I spend hundreds of hours in MLB The Show the past couple years I have, and it's a game that I play almost every night. It's a game that I can sit back and relax with, and I don't have to think too hard about it. And I enjoy the game. I think it's consistently one of the most reliable games in the sports genre that I can think of. I mean, when it comes to glitches and bugs and stuff like that, yeah, they're there, but I don't see them pop up as frequently as I do with, say, Madden or NBA 2K, or, of course, WWE 2K. But this is a really good question, because why do I feel this way? What should I expect from this? And am I expecting too much year one? And it really comes down to how, not what. Now, what I mean by that is it's not how much is in there or what is in there necessarily, it's how it was put in there. Right now, if you try to move the New York Yankees to Billings, Montana, and give them a high school roster, it's kind of the same thing as if you were to move the Yankees to Austin, Texas, and just load their roster with all-stars. You're not going to see a huge difference in attendance. You're not going to see a big difference with how it affects the league around you. Whereas in real life, moving the Yankees to Billings, Montana would be an atomic bomb dropped on Major League Baseball. What I'm saying is that modes and features like this should have a dynamic effect when you change something like that. And the reason why it's not going to have that effect is because the proper systems are not in place. And those systems should be in place first before we get all of this. So the first year of this feature should have had a system built where you are matters in terms of population, in terms of whether or not the fans are going to go out and see this team no matter if they're winning or losing. It doesn't have any of that. So all it is renaming a team, creating new logos, and picking one of the stadiums that's already in the game. Now, let me be clear on this. That has a use for some people in this game. This comment from Danny Rivera 8300 says, "How is it disappointing? I for one am going to make the St. Louis Browns and take them back to Sportsman's Park, or even move them to Busch to share with the Cards. It's a startup, give them time. I'm sure once the show 22 or 23 comes out, there will be more options. Obviously, this has a use for some people, and some people are gonna enjoy it, and they should. I'm definitely not saying if you don't agree with my opinion here, you're invalid or anything like that. If you enjoy it, or if you found a way to enjoy it, that's awesome. I think that's great, and I look forward to seeing what some people do with this, because I know some people are going to make full-on leagues. I've heard mention of college leagues. I make custom leagues in out-of-the-park baseball and super mega baseball, and I have a lot of fun with those. And they don't have the feature that I'm talking about, really, where it matters where you're located. Somewhat in out-of-the-park baseball, but super mega baseball doesn't matter where you say the team is from. You can say it's from the Fiji Islands or whatever, and it doesn't matter. But it should matter in this game, in this mode. And I say that because franchise mode should be a mode where you're running a franchise, and along with that comes money. I'm pretty sure every team has enough money to cover salaries and signing bonuses, and that's what a budget is for. Some teams can afford more than others, and that makes sense. But when it comes to funding ballparks or funding team relocations, or going even further than that, and I'll talk about that in a bit, that needs to be in these games, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't, and sometimes it's properly implemented, and sometimes it's not. But for it to not be in at all is kind of disappointing for this game in particular. What I was pitching a few years ago to sports games in general was basically we need to have a reason to move forward. We need to have a reason to push forward in our franchise modes, a reason for it to be interesting beyond just the first few years. Once we won the World Series, okay, well, I won the World Series, I guess I could try to win it again. And, it kind of gets boring after that, and we need something to strive for. What I was suggesting to a lot of these sports games was you need to have an economy in place for when you win the World Series, you make a certain amount of money. And that gives you a reason to push for the World Series year after year. And then you have stuff to spend that money on, not just signing bonuses, because that's boring. Having things like, building a new stadium and having that actually be a feature in the game. More things like uniform redesign, things like unlocking new futuristic equipment, or unlocking new rules, stuff like that, to make it feel like your franchise progresses the longer that you play it. It gives a person a reason to continue pushing forward, to continue trying to make money in these games. And I know that people are going to cringe when I say this, but believe me, when EA makes $1 billion in microtransactions, microtransactions are not going anywhere. In fact, there are technically microtransactions in franchise mode already in MLB The Show. You can get sponsorships out of packs from Diamond Dynasty. You can get Road to the Show equipment out of packs from Diamond Dynasty. So what I'm proposing is, why not have it be where you can actually purchase money for your franchise team in franchise mode, or earn money through Diamond Dynasty packs or whatever. It gives franchise people a reason to care about stubs. Right now, I buy the mid-tier MLB The Show package, which comes with the steelbook and stubs and all that kind of stuff. I mainly buy it for the steelbook because I'm a sucker for steelbooks. I usually play Diamond Dynasty in the beginning of the year as I wait for franchise mode to have its updates and wait for those minor league rosters, which I guess now I won't have to really wait for, so I can hop in right away. But those stubs are pretty useless to me. I really don't care about them. But if you allow me to use those stubs to kind of bolster my team's bank account, to where I'll be able to relocate faster or build a new stadium faster or even, unlock a new uniform faster. That is intriguing to me. That makes me want to play and to push forward and win. When you can just customize it right out of the gate, but the customization options aren't all that mind-blowing. We have much better customization options in other games, and you don't have the ability to build a new ballpark, and relocating to a new city doesn't matter. It's just, all of this is very underwhelming, and it really lacks in good design, because a good design would have that system in place, would have the city system in place, and would even have the economy system in place, and it doesn't have that in year one. I would think you would want to put that in place and then build on top of all of that, but for some reason they want to kind of do everything in reverse. They want to put the customization features for the uniforms in and let you change your team name and stuff like that, and unfortunately it feels like kind of half-baked, because what we're getting has been in the game for years in the Diamond Dynasty logo creator. Now, I don't have a problem with that on its own. It's a pretty good logo tool. It makes sense. You have the asset there. You might as well bring it into franchise mode. But that doesn't seem like it took a lot of work. Maybe I'm completely wrong on that. Maybe it took a ton of work. I don't know. But it just doesn't feel like it does. And finally, what I want to say about this, and why I think it kind of bugs me about why this is so underwhelming, is because we have been told constantly from this team, time and time again, if I remember correctly, and I'm not just making this up or just dreaming this stuff, that they have said we don't want to put a feature in the game until we can do it right. Which, on the one hand, there are times where they put a feature in and maybe it's not working properly, so they have to tune it and update it and stuff like that. That's a different story. But this, they put a feature in that, from a design standpoint, seems half-baked. It seems like they really did not think this one through, or if they did, they said, well, we can't do it properly, so let's just do it this way, which goes completely against what they said before, we don't want to put something in if we can't do it right. So overall, it just seems disingenuous. Now, to kind of complete the compliment sandwich, I guess, I do love this game. I really do love this game. I think it's fantastic overall. I think the graphics are fantastic. The gameplay, I love the gameplay. It's the best playing baseball game ever in my mind. I have fun with it. I put hundreds of hours into it. I love baseball, and I think it does a great job of representing the sport of baseball. But at the same time, I'm not just going to pretend like I'm happy with everything that they do, because that's not the case. That's when you get in real trouble, is when you start pretending to be satisfied by something. You either are or you're not, and maybe when this comes out and I spend time with it, I'll be satisfied. But as of right now, looking at the news of it, looking at how they implemented it, I'm underwhelmed. I think they could have done so much more, so much better. And it's not even the quantity of stuff, it's the quality of stuff. I don't feel like this is going to be great quality stuff. And on top of that, if this took away from a lot of other things that they could have done, like improving trade logic or roster management logic. I saw a catcher playing shortstop on a team the other day, and he was just making error after error after error because they couldn't get an actual shortstop in there. I don't get some of the things that AI does in this game when it comes to roster management, or talking about how the game delivers news and stuff like that. It just does a really poor job of that. So there are other things that could have been done, so I feel bad because I wanted relocation in the game. It was on the top of my list, but this is not how I wanted it. And on top of that, now I feel bad because it's going to be taken away from other stuff that they could have done to really improve the mode. So it just puts me with a bad feeling, a bad taste in my mouth so far. But the game comes out pretty soon. I'll probably do a review on it, and I'll definitely be sharing my thoughts, in the very least, about the game after I play it, and we'll see if I change my tune. Hopefully I will. I want to be completely pleased with this game. I don't put my $80 down on this, Steelbook edition of MLB The Show and want to be mad. I want to be happy. And I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed with this, because this means another year of waiting for something to be done properly. And I know that sounds like they don't do anything properly. That's not the case. It's just, when you're a franchise fan, this is how it's been for years now. It's always, oh, just wait. I'll just wait another year. I'll just wait another 2 years. I'll get it. And it's the proof is in the pudding. Most of the time, they don't. They don't get it right. Years later, it's poorly implemented, and that bad foundation does not make for good building on top of. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your opinion in the comments section, because I'm very interested now, me explaining this further, if this kind of clears anything up, or if you still feel the same way. Thank you to those commenters for giving me something to think about, and really kind of reassess what I was upset with and what that was worth. Until next time, this is Lex, signing off.